To the flag of the
United
States of America,
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, please.
Covert.
Here.
Crowner. Johnson.
Here.
Lees. Here. Young.
Here.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Presented.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Go on to reports. So, Greg?
Let's see, zoning and comp plan, we had a meeting today with Moira, who's taking over for Ed, and we're going to be meeting every 2 weeks, providing updates as we go along. We reviewed the first 3 chapters, sent some comments back, and then we'll be talking here momentarily about, they'd also like to have a zoning committee as well, or a steering committee, about some of the ideas off. But that's moving along well. I think the transition is going well, and I think you'll actually really like working with Moira. She's who we originally were going to be working with. She's on the ball and getting caught up. Franny, who was here at the last meeting, is working with her as well on those projects. So that was a good discussion. Civic Plus training has been going on this week. Loads of fun. The Institute for Sustainable Communities, I'll talk about later. The pool. Chase has gathered up some information on maintenance for the coming year, and we're looking at probably about $225,000 worth of maintenance. $67,000 of which you've already approved. It's probably going to be scheduled next month or two for the pool paint and caulk. But there's some significant cost that we're potentially looking at here. I'm not sure if it's something we really want to wait for budget to discuss, but sorry. But the foundation is a small item. That's just some caulking. Some additional caulking. Check valves need to be done. That's $19,000. The deck caulking, $36,000. Paint and caulk of the pool, the $67,000 that council's already approved. The pool heater and boiler, $65,000 to $70,000. Umbrellas, the walk pad, which we don't have a cost for yet, with the different structure, the water walk. Canopies that have been ordered were $10,000. So just in total, we're looking at roughly about $225,000 worth of repairs over this next year. So heads up, FYI.
Can we get a copy of that, Greg?
Yeah, absolutely. But
Did you say something about the boiler, Chase?
Yeah, that was $65,000 to $70,000 as a quote for that. That was included in that price.
So are we having trouble with the boiler, or is it just something that we're doing routinely?
It's Millard's came and looked at it, and they said the manifold's out and it's shot. So
How old is that, do you know? Is that the
It's
one
original.
that came? They came?
I believe it's original.
original, as far as I know.
Yeah.
20, when did you have it?
14.
I guess I don't even actually make them like that anymore. So
Because I started
Is it the
with
chlorine?
5,
eats away at them.
but yeah. Well, 14 years ago now.
42 years? Or
22 years.
I think they were talking. How old's the pool?
Well, we're just discussing that. 2000.
Started it when I left in 2005, and it wasn't under construction yet, so I think you were under construction in 6 or 7?
Yeah, probably 6. We closed a year and then opened the following. It's cold without the It's very cold without the boiler.
Painting the pool used to, yeah, I mean, we don't have to fix the boiler, you could just let the temperature warm it up. Painting the pool used to cost about $30,000 on average for pools. Now, I mean, that's up to about $67,000, but that's, used to be about $30,000 project. Significant increases in that. So
How
heads up,
often?
I'll get you this information. What's that?
How often do we do that?
Pool?
3 years?
No.
We painted
Is that
it.
5 or 10 years? I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember. The slides were painted last. I don't
I
think
think
that,
Randy said the year he left, they painted, which would have been 18.
So. Fun. Let's see, and then, I mentioned zoning here a moment ago. I think I'll throw that under the IISC discussion items. So I'm just looking for participation at this point. So, that's all for tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Greg, one more thing. You're getting copies of those updates and the changes that he's making and stuff? And
Which, one? For zoning?
for the zoning changes is what
Yeah,
you're
I
talking
haven't
They
about?
haven't made any
Started.
changes. This is the first 3 chapters of the comp plan. Yep, that I reviewed.
Is there a way that we can see that also, so? that
Yeah,
we all at
they're
one
taking
time-
our comments and then we'll send it out to the steering committee and we can send it out to council at that same time, so.
Chase?
they're supposed to be here on Friday for the asphalting for the trail. They're gonna do the 2 spots on Houston as well, that we, they were coming up, so we ground them out, so they're gonna come and patch them while they're here. Casey's got their sewer hooked up, and they should be with water hopefully at the end of the week. And they're gonna do that valve at the same time for us, for the water tower, so. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you.
So I assume Casey's was hooking up there across the street at the other place, and they were,
The sewer, yeah.
yeah.
The water's staying on, the water's staying on that side, the sewer has to run underneath the road.
So is that what they were doing with the truck over there on the corner at the gas station?
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
Chase, on the seal coat for the ceiling and that we did earlier this summer with the company.
Yep.
So are they gonna come back and redo areas where weeds are coming up through where they missed a spot or not?
Not that I am aware of.
Steel coat? We did that. Was that last year?
Where are you seeing that at?
We did some.
I get-
Well, of
or
course,
I-
in my-
22 or
in
22?
my area, but I've noticed in other areas where they
I don't think we
seal
did.
crack that there's weeds coming up around.
I can say something to them, so.
We didn't, which area are you talking about? We didn't do seal coat this year. We did, was seal
Seal
coat?
crack, seal crack.
Cracks.
Oh, crack sealing.
Sealing.
Okay.
Crack seal. Either,
Gotcha.
either way. And I just wondered, you know, if they might have missed it with their tar and stuff that, I'm weed
Some-
eating them for you.
You can take a look at those locations.
Yep.
It's all around.
Jesse?
I've got a few things here. We participated in the Dunkin' Donuts for the Special Olympics last week for Iowa Special Olympics. Out of the 22 locations, out of the 22 locations throughout the state of Iowa that participated, a total of $33,000 was raised. And out of our location, we raised at West Burlington was $2,169. Again, I think we were number 3 out of the 22 locations for our market. I think that's an excellent job, again, by our local community, supporting not only us, but the Special Olympics. It just shows a lot that what we have around the area. So this was our 3rd year participating in that fundraiser for Dunkin' Donuts and Iowa Special Olympics. So very, very nice to see that. We had Unit 8 transmission go out of it. That's the another Ford Explorer. So we're in the process of getting quotes right now. It's just the second car of our 2 Fords that we have left that we are looking at what we want to do with that vehicle. It has 18,000 miles on it. We got a quote. I just received it for replacing the Unit 5 that got totaled out when it got hit head-on up on Highway 34 back in early June. We've been working with the insurance, and I just got a quote back from Carl Chevrolet just as the meeting was starting, and a new squad car cost, just a squad car is $49,905.20 to replace that squad car that was totaled back in June. So there's a few discussion items that we need to discuss about what we want to do with replacing the transmission in Unit 8 or getting a new car. That is not in the budget this year, but we are down another car, and all we're doing is just adding double the miles to the other cars because they're getting hot seated, which multiple shifts in a row has to use these cars. So that's just a discussion item. Carl Chevrolet does have a vehicle on site right now that we can hold until the September council meeting, but I just wanted to bring up those things that's happened in the last week.
I think our recommendation is going to be to replace it with a Chevy Tahoe. The Tahoes, I think, perform much better than the Fords. Just as an FYI, I mean, that's what Jesse and I have discussed, and I think that's going to be our recommendation, that we replace it with a new Chevy Tahoe sooner rather than later, and get it back on the road. I mentioned to you some time back that done a previous study comparing the vehicles, and the Tahoes came out gas mileage, maintenance, etc., far better than the other vehicles that are currently out there on the road. And so,
You're
Right.
talking the squad car that's wrecked.
I'm sorry.
You're talking the squad car that's wrecked?
Yes.
Replacing that?
Replacing the wrecked one.
And right now, we have received $27,300 in insurance money back from that wrecked squad car. We're still waiting for some more money that we can turn into the insurance about the equipment that was taken out of the wrecked car, for taking the equipment out, and then we can charge a portion of that for the equipment that goes back into the new car and get it back, that part of it, through insurance also. So we don't have all the money back yet, but it's just a process that Angie has been going through to.
So
Get
did
that.
we get the storage money back?
Yes.
Yes.
At 20, in the 27.3?
No.
No, it was
on top of
it was
that.
on
top of
of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chief, go ahead, John.
So how much money, besides the cost of it, what's the equipment installing and all that stuff if?
Probably looking at another $39,000-$40,000 on top of that insurance money.
For what?
Probably looking at, $39,000-$40,000 on top of the insurance proceeds, 27 minus,
Equipment.
48, that's
What are you talking
20,
about?
plus another 19 for
Hold on, time
equipment.
out. He's throwing a lot of numbers out. Okay, a new squad car is $49,000, and the install the equipment on top of that's going to be approximately $22,000 on top of that.
22,000.
On top of, let's say, $50,000, so you're talking $72,000 for equipment and all the install.
So if we don't put the transmission in that other car, we're gonna spend basically $22,000 on, above that, for fixing that transmission. If we don't fix the transmission, we buy another car.
No, the transmission's on Unit 8.
Yeah.
And so we're down basically 2 cars right now. So we need to replace Unit 5 that was totaled on the accident, and then replace the transmission in Unit 8, so we're not down 2 squad cars.
I thought you were kind of saying we need to discuss that, maybe replace it before you fixed it, I thought.
No, we need to replace Unit 5 with the car that was totaled in that accident.
Didn't we have another car with the transmission out?
we had the unit 1 and it's been replaced and it's been running good.
That was a Ford as well?
That was the
Another
Ford
Ford.
as well.
You know, Toyotas are pretty nice.
They don't make
Get them in
the,
police packages, and what we do to them would not last.
Oh, I don't know.
Just saying. I mean, I've seen you drive, but
I go to church.
How'd the testing go?
we had 3 show up for our police testing, and one passed. So, just 1. We had 7 people show up for the fire department testing that same day, so.
Okay. So,
How many passed the fire department testing, Jesse?
All 7 of them passed, but one of them thought we were a full-time department, so that was not gonna work out for him.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Jesse?
No,
Okay.
happy news tonight.
Anything from our building department? Greg?
no, not this week. I mean, all of the projects are on schedule that we're aware of. Good response on some of the trees that went out. But as far as I know, last I talked to Mark, the housing project was on track. He had gone out and done one inspection. Chase went out and took a look at some concrete the other day as well. Yesterday or today, one of the two. But so they're moving right along as well. So
Hey Greg, do we have an estimated completion date on the housing project, the 55 plus?
not that I would call. It'd be spring at the earliest, but I can check with Chris.
Just be nice to know with all the activity over there. Thank you.
Kelly, anything?
We met with Des Moines County Humane Society. They're gonna have their Dog Days of Summer event at Pat Klein Park on Saturday from 10 to 2. So they sent some flyers out for that. And then there's also the Touch a Truck is out at the mall. And police, I think, police and fire, and we'll have a couple guys from Public Works out there with our equipment, and that's 10 to 1, I believe.
Not that one.
I saw it.
Finance? Nope. Okay.
No.
All right. Melanie, since you're here, do you have any comments that you want to make?
No, not this week. Thanks anyway.
All right. Trees?
Now moving along.
Okay. John?
I did have 2 people say something to me in the past couple weeks that they can't hear on the council, and I'm probably part of that. So I'm going to try to speak up. You know, I'm pretty soft-spoken and quiet and stuff like that, so I'm sorry.
You need to pull up my pant legs.
That's all I had.
Ringo?
yes, I talked to 2 more residents up there on our subdivision that we were discussing for the septic and sewer system. Both those individuals think they may be selling their homes in the next few years. They were more inclined, they were very interested, and I think it was more of a, it was definitely not a no. It was more towards a yes that they were doing it. So that brings up a total then of 14, you know.
Positives then.
Yeah, 14 positives there out of all the residents that we have in the area. And want to tell the police department good job on the stolen vehicle. They got back so quickly last week. Very good job.
20 minutes.
That's fast.
That's good. That's efficiency.
It worked. A little luck in our favor.
Thank you. Seeing no citizen inquiries and no reports, then we'll go to new business. First item in new business, consider the purchase of a Cascade compressor fill station from McQueen equipment for the fire department at $36,266.21.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion?
You want to tell us anything about that?
We had over, I think, 44,000 budgeted, 45,000 budgeted. McQueen took over the, another company that bid us, and and I got a new quote from them, and it came in cheaper. So there's some electrical work that'll need to do to upgrade this. I talked to Bazines about that the other day when they were hooking up the generator. So it's just a system that's over 20 years old, and it's wore out. So it needed to be replaced. We put it in the budget talked about it last year in budget, so.
Okay, well then I'd
Might as well
call
do it.
for a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. We'll go to item number 2. We've discussed the status of the Iowa Initiative for Sustainable Communities, the IISC project development.
Great. As you know, we're moving ahead. I'll send out the link tomorrow. Webpage has been filled out on their site, talking about our various projects. What I'm looking for, and I sent out some suggestions, was for some co-leads on projects. If council members were interested in participating, I've reached out to regional planning on the transportation piece to see if Mike and Zach wouldn't be willing to jump on that with us as well. The Prairie, I've reached out to Toby at Homestead 1839, as well as Steve Bauer with Aldo Leopold Foundation as well. But I'd like to see if council members would be interested in participating in some of those, and tried to kind of fit everybody into something. If those were acceptable, like to, and the commitment is typically going to be for these projects, there's going to be an occasional Zoom meeting with the students, and then they'll be down for visits for the various projects. We're not talking about a huge time commitment, but they don't want to just see my face at every single Zoom meeting. I am going to be going up on the 4th or the 5th it is, of September, and to speak to the environmental science class that's dealing with the Prairie program. So I'm going to go up to university and talk to them, the Prairie installation, and what's going on in West Burlington as well. But I think, Melanie, I think you might have been interested in arts and culture. Ron, I was thinking maybe the shared services piece might be a good one with yourself and Burlington, the mayor. Stormwater, Therese, I was thinking that might be a good fit, if you'd be interested in that.
Well, at least it's
trying to get
storm, not
everybody
sewer.
involved. I won't say anything. I'll leave my comment to myself there.
A good plan.
Andy, I was thinking with the housing and the subdivision design as well. John, you're on the trailhead design currently as well. You and Ringo, you'd also mentioned interest in the trail on Agency 2. Both of you had mentioned interest in that. Those were kind of two of the remaining ones. Zoning, I left my list back at the, but that'll be myself, Kelly, and Mark, looking for representatives from P&Z, and
I wouldn't mind being on that.
well, actually, I was going to suggest Andy from a housing perspective. They were looking, they don't want a developer on there, and Andy would kind of cancel out two of those as well on that piece.
I'd rather be on the agency trail. I've been pounding for
Trail?
that for,
Now, you can be involved in
8
more than
years.
one thing,
Oh, I
but
can?
there is a time commitment involved, so. If you want to get back to me with your interest, I'd appreciate it, and let me know. I'm trying to get some other folks involved from the community as well, not just city folks like Homestead 1839 and or regional planning, obviously on the transportation and land use makes some sense as well. But if you have a different interest, I just threw out some names. Just let me know. You've got the list.
There?
What's that?
What other ones you got there?
The list that I sent out to you.
Yeah, I don't want to get out of the window, but do you have any others that you don't have names by? I mean,
No, those are the
Those
8
are-
that we have going on right now.
so,
Didn't you want the
so,
language?
no, so you got some others on the back that are like maybes.
That they threw out for the spring. I haven't even discussed those with them. I don't know anything, I don't have enough information on them to have a discussion on them, but there'll be other projects in the spring. These aren't all of our list. I mean, I think I had 40-some items on our list as well. So there'll be more discussions as we move forward on, and that'll also be partly dependent on the professors and the students that'll be involved in the spring as well. They threw out a couple that they've done in some other communities, that you're talking about, the language justice, the homelessness policy. And they have that as, I believe, joint projects. Well, yeah, they have the homelessness one listed as a joint project with the College of Law, as a potential project. Now, adding all of these projects, whether we end up with 10 or we end up with 18, that doesn't increase our cost. So adding different ones from interested departments or faculty members or students doesn't increase our costs going forward. But we haven't even discussed those that he threw out as potential ones on the list. There was some interest, looks like, from those faculty members that had participated in other communities before, so. But right now, I'm just looking for the fall programs that we're talking about.
So I read on there somewhere where it was a $2,500 possible extra cost for
I
the,
mentioned the trailhead, which is not one of our projects per se. We have that committee that's working on that. They don't have a landscape architecture department, but they do have some students that have participated and done some design work. I shared with the council the design work that one of them had done in Bondurant this last year. It was excellent work. And that was a potential cost of $2,500, but it would be included in the cost that we already committed to. So that's not an additional cost. That would be paid to the students via the university. It's not an additional cost, though. But then we could include that as an additional project and have them come back with some recommended designs and concepts, like the example that I provided from the city of Bondurant. So, but there's no additional cost for that. It's just paid to the students for the actual work that they would be doing. So, and it's certainly going to cost you a lot more to hire a landscape architect than $2,500 for design work. And I think she did excellent work on the sample that I'd encourage you to take a look at it if you haven't had a chance yet, on her report for the city of Bondurant and their park that they put together.
but we pay that $2,500.
That's part of the cost we already committed to, not over and above the cost that we already committed to.
So my question is, if that's the case and we're engineering like agency or some of the others, is that going to be the same scenario for those cases once we get into them? Like another extra cost?
No.
Just this one particular.
This is, they don't have a landscape architecture program. I suggested, they suggested bringing Herky down, I guess, for the grand opening, and I suggested it only if they had Cy down as well, but landscape architecture is at Iowa State, but they don't have a landscape architecture program here, but they do have some students that have done related work at the University of Iowa through their program, and participated in IISC before. They're not participating in the program, but would do the work in cooperation with IISC in the city under the overall umbrella with no additional cost.
Okay.
No additional cost. No, the engineering is all covered through the as part of the program. In fact, we're saving a ton of money by having them come in and design
Just wanted to confirm.
that project. So, I mean, you're talking probably 12 to 15% minimum for a project that size, and if you use, who knows, I mean, on that. It'll be an easier project than the one we just did, going through the mall section, because it is going through a grassy section. But it's still a long section of trail, and you do have a number of crossings in there, and you have 2 intersections. So, and you're going from West Burlington Avenue all the way to Gear. So let's just say it's $2 million, and 10%, you just use 10%, that's $200,000 right there. So more than make up your money.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. We've had our.
Please let me know as soon as possible, if you would. If you could give me like 2 or 3, so I could try to get it all divided out, so everybody participates, I'd appreciate it.
Greg, when do you want that feedback? You want it tonight? You want it by the end of the week?
Yesterday?
By Monday?
Yesterday?
Yesterday? Okay, yeah, I'm
Oh, yeah,
good with
no,
the committee you got me on. I'll take the trail a sec.
Friday or Monday would be great.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to our third item of new business. Consider amending Resolution 2024-40 to allow an end-of-season bonus for the swimming pool employees who remained available through the end of the season.
Make a motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion?
Council approved the resolution previously. It was for 25 hours minimum. Given the problems at the end of the season, weather that wasn't cooperating, we've had some cold weather, they weren't able to open up. The average hours of 25 didn't make sense, and nobody qualified for it. These are the students that made it through the end of the season and participated through the last 18th and 19th, our last 2 days of the year, and hoping they come back this next season. It seems appropriate to modify the resolution, if that's our recommendation, to give it to these specific individuals that participated throughout the season and to the end of the season.
Is there anybody on here that, or not on here, that did everything except maybe 1 or 2 meetings?
These are all of the ones that are left.
Is there anybody on here that is not on here that maybe missed 1 time or 2 times?
If
No.
they,
They're not.
if they resign, they're not on
No.
there. Right. But other than that, no.
There's nobody missing that isn't still employed at the pool. All of these are the current employees. Everybody, that's it.
If
If
they
they're
resign
missing from this list, they've quit.
or terminated.
Yeah. Or we're terminated.
These are the ones that committed to the city and stayed through the end of the season, so we appreciate that. And it's been difficult. We're gonna, started talking about recommendations, including wages for next year, so. But we also have this to talk about now as well, these additional costs.
Call for a roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Motion carries. Last item of new business is consider an amendment to professional services agreement related to the stormwater master plan.
We met with Bolton and Mink and Ryan, the gentleman, the lead on the project. There are roughly 750 structures in the city of West Burlington. 250 was our discussion. I think they narrowed it down to about 207 structures that we simply don't have data on that we thought was going to be available through GIS or other resources, and they need to collect that data in person. The original quote was about $25,000. During our discussion, we suggested that they bring down 2 individuals and that we provide 2 staff members as well. We were able to bring that cost down to the $15,000 that they're proposing to go out and do 207 structures and get the measurements that they need for the study on those structures. And so we were able to shave about $10,000 off by participating with the city staff in those costs. So it's our recommendation to proceed with that. It's important, or critical element, I guess. They narrowed it down to 207 most important structures that we need. Down the road, if we want, we can always extend that, but we will get this back as a GIS layer for the future that we will be able to add to GIS as well and have all of the data that's collected on there. So it'll be an additional layer that we can add and be of benefit to us. So the information's just not there. Can't find it Anywhere. Last major project we had was a 60-inch storm on the from the corner of Broadway to the southwest back in 2006 or 7, roughly, 8, somewhere in there. That's the only one that we would have as-built on.
So can you explain to me how, when we send out an estimate for this, what information do we give them for them to give us a quote?
There's a lot of information. We went through all of our findings to date, the information, the sites, the 5 key sites that we had identified for council, all the information that we had found to date. There was data that they needed in addition to what we provided, this data here that we did not have in our records downstairs. We don't have in our records on GIS that we weren't able to locate that we thought would be available for them. And it simply is not available anywhere.
I understand why they need it.
Right.
But I just don't understand, when they give us a quote, they have the information in front of them that they need.
They thought this, they thought this information was going to be available to them.
On the GIS.
This data on the GIS system and in our maps, and it's simply that we don't have the detail and the information that they need.
They're not gonna go through and like look in detail of what every single thing is to see if they have everything before they're
No, they
hired.
should, before they give us.
We provide them.
They should give us, if they're
Number of
giving us a quote
documents.
of 25,
That's part of
35.
the work of it, is going through and digging in there and,
We provided them a copy of all the documents that we had. There was a stormwater master plan done,
I mean, I can see
18,
that
20 years
different.
ago.
I can see it different if
2007.
they say, hey, we need this information, this, and this, and we didn't give it to them, where they'd come back and ask.
This is additional field work that wasn't accounted for because we don't have the information in our databases, our GIS, our paperwork, the maps, the hand maps that we have that we're trying to translate and put everything on GIS so that we don't lose that data. We don't have this data.
But they had that stuff prior, and they've done work for us prior on it.
No,
no, not Bolton meat.
no, we don't have, there hasn't been any stormwater work done in, the last project that was done in like 2005 or 6 or 7, excuse me, somewhere around there. That was that 60-inch sewer. Remember, it was flooding over there at Airgas and.
So it was Shive that had it before, though.
Oh.
French
they
did
wouldn't-
some smoke
Was that
testing.
French?
Was it French? Okay.
But if the data was there, we own the data and we would have had the data, but for the project, but, that was a project. This is a complete stormwater master plan for the city.
Right.
This is something a little bit different. We've had a number of issues in the last several years,
I know.
as you know. And we're not alone. I mean, just look at Northwest Iowa. I don't know if you've seen those pictures of Spencer, that the informational video that they put out before and after. They're downtown. They have an aerial before and after. Go on their page and take a look at that aerial coming in, and you'll just see the devastation from stormwater and rain and runoff. And it's a creek, or 2 creeks, I think it is, that feed into there. They've never had those type of issues before in Spencer. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that. I mean, these are new issues that we're dealing with.
Hey Greg, specifically, what specific type of data is? Is it the size of,
Yeah.
things in the ground that we don't have the information, or is it width of roads? Give me a specific example, specific data they need.
Oh, let's see, the rim, the invert, the size of the pipe, in and out of the structure.
So these are things under the ground that we just don't know what's under
Yes,
there. We don't know the
rim
size of-
elevation, invert, size of the pipe in and out of the structure. And by having our staff go along and knows where these structures are and we're splitting the cost up, we're able to save quite a bit and shave those costs off. So this is field work out there and data we don't have.
This is taking manhole covers off, going down in the hole and saying, oh, this thing's a
Or maybe a
5-foot
manhole,
pipe and
maybe
not
at the end
2-foot
of a
pipe.
structure, the start of a structure. There's a map of them identified in there as well.
Thank
Greg,
you.
would this be information that we would have had at one time, or is it stuff that we never put into the system?
You know, if we had taken every stormwater project that we, and collected that data, or had as-built, so that when we do a project today, we get as-built, and we want electronic as-built as well, so we have that information at our fingertips. We have a number of as-built downstairs in the vault for various projects over the years, but not this kind of data on these types of projects. But every project we get now, we want digital copies of as-built for every single project, so we'll be able to have that information.
I neglected to get a motion to, for this amendment, so
Motion approved.
motion approved. Do I have a second?
Support.
Motion and support. Okay, I will have a roll call vote then.
I don't think you need one for this.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. We have come to the end of our new business. Seeing no citizen inquiries, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned.
Thank you.